you need? No. Ta-da! You lived through that part. They don't seem impressed or happy. Yeah, I know. You came to a sword show hoping to see somebody's blood get spilled. Relax, my wife and I will fight more later. You could reenact the honeymoon, but that involves too much bowing and scraping on my part. Did I say that out loud? Come on. For the samurai, every cut with a sword was a life or death situation. It wasn't about scoring points, it wasn't about winning trophies or cool colored belts. It was about winning a fight and living to go home. So while you watch him do the basic cuts, please keep in mind, in his mind, there is somebody in front of him that he is cutting in half. Usually really tall with a gray and black and white kimono with splashes of red. What else? How Bulgarian mote? 8 basic cuts by the count. Ready? Each! Hey! Me! Ya! Sa! Do! She! Hey! Go! Ya! Ro! Do! Teach! Hey! Hotch! Ya! Come on! You know what? To be honest with you, half of you are waiting for the bloodshed. The other half have already figured out that he's kind of straddling the corners, and you're waiting to see if he goes off the edge. Keep noticing the cameras come up every time he gets close to his side. Because that is it. Now, just so we're clear, it's my show. If you send it in and win that $15,000, I get a cut. Cut? I mean, it's amazing that you're not still single. I know, right? Come on, let's do one more for him, okay? Now the samurai, when they trained, it was for the battlefield. The idea, you can come in. There is room. Look, there's chairs. They're alone. I know, but you're walking the door and there's hordes of people behind you. It may not be true, but it's my fantasy. And as long as you're in it, there should be no. Yes, we have a very comfortable couch at home, and I spend a lot of time sleeping on it. You know that old adage that it's better to keep your mouth shut and be thought a fool than open your mouth and prove them right? I believe in proving things. So, on the battlefield, the samurai, the goal was to go into battle together. Us against you. We have the swords, you have the ears. I like our odds. But combat on the battlefield was very chaotic, and in the heat of conflict and me chasing people who made fun of me earlier, we could get separated. And unlike today's video games, 16th century Japan, you couldn't just push the pause button. You could keep going. So a samurai would have to be able to keep fighting even if he found himself all alone, surrounded by the enemy. So for this form, what I want you to do, right here, right here, I want you to pretend that you are all alone and surrounded by people who hate you. You are all alone in a vast sea of humanity that all wish you harm. You know, like high school. I was going to say like last week's show, but some of those people are still here. Does anybody remember the comedian Mitch Hedberg? Yes. Mitch Hedberg had one of the greatest lines ever. He said, "You can't please all of the people all of the time, and last night all of those people were at my show." Yeah. The fun thing about that one's actually a short joke that you can get. Normally for Mitch, you had to listen to like 15 minutes and get lost in his world. Fun place to visit, but you don't want to stay there. Kind of like our show, so we'll move on. You're alone, you're surrounded by enemies, and you have to be able to reel and cut in any direction and cut powerfully. Okay? I meant with precision and leave your Arnold impression for the next governor race. Or Terminator 4000, whatever. Shihogiri, 4 direction cutting. We'll go back to Arnold later. Shihogiri. Each. Hey, no, me. Hey, no, son. Hey, no, she. Hey, no, no. Hey, no, get on. No time. Perfect. You've been alone on stage enough. You can go back. And for the samurai, I'll give you a break on this part because she was already beating on you. Look, for the samurai, once they were competent to use a sword on their own, it was really important that they learn what to do when someone swings a sword at you. Okay? Are you sure you know how to use that?
The pointy knows it, you, right?
Not tonight, it doesn't, dear. Somewhere out there is a mom going, I brought my child. And I used to feel guilty because our shows are... People like those kind of jokes? A little bit. I get worried that our show is like, this is a little racy. And then my son directs me to the Comedy Channel, Comedy Central. And I watch a cartoon that our kids in the dojo, they're like 8, have been watching.
South Park?
And I'm going, oh, no, South Park you assume is going to be really disturbed. I mean, any of them. And I'm going, oh my God, I didn't learn that word until college. Granted, I was a little slow. Okay, a lot slow. I rode our school district's first short bus. I rode on the back, I was too tall. We should go back to our show and stop reliving my high school failures. I want to have all new failures in front of you. For the samurai, they had to learn how to move if somebody swung a sword at them, because in normal human reaction, if you don't train and some psychotic blonde jumps out and punches, now before you're all giggling going, yeah, like that's going to happen, please remember 2 things. 1, you're here. 2, so is she. If it's going to happen anywhere, it'll be here. So, normal human reaction. One jumps out and attacks you with a sword. Which is a lot like our first date. She's single. It's my fantasy. Not yours. You get that in her fantasy, she's not single, never. That brings us to the next one. If you train a little bit, and you figure out that the fetal position is not only not very helpful on the battlefield, it's no help in your dating life. If you train a little bit, you learn to not do that, and then it brings you to our shout out to the Karate Kid! She swings sharp sword, and I go, wah! Losing on. Which against a 3-foot sharpened razor blade is not a real smart thing. The Japanese sword was designed to go entirely through body parts. Actually, it was designed to go entirely through bodies. Don't ask how I know this or why it's relevant in my life. The record for cutting through human bodies in one swing, you heard our show last year, be quiet. Actually, I'm just grateful somebody listened to me.